internets, it's John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Heart of an Artist podcast, and I couldn't be more excited than to be talking to Alan Epley from The Life and Times. Thank you for being here, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. Man, I usually do pre-show interviews, but this is a post-show interview, and
That's
you
right.
just blew my mind playing your new album. But my first question to you is, it seems like lightning struck you twice, man, because first with Shiner, now with Life and Times, you just have the most badass drummers of all time. How do you do that? Where do you find these guys?
Struck 3 times, actually, because 2 drummers in Shiner.
That's true.
And 4 times, I feel like, because Life and Times had our first drummer was Mike Myers, from one of the early guys.
Right.
And I wrote a lot of songs with him, and also he was on the Flat NDP. So I feel very lucky. I don't know why. I think just I really don't know. Maybe the songs are more interesting to play for drummers or something, or I have a way of like writing things that are more cool for drummers to dig in on. I don't really know.
Right.
But it seems to translate, and I can speak drummer language well about what I want from them.
Right.
I can kind of drum and play my things, like I want to, kind of in a certain way. I'm not a great drummer, but I can Paul McCartney my way through some stuff, and,
yeah, absolutely.
And
Mama Miss
a
America.
little bit more.
Yeah.
But so I think that kind of translates with the drummers, and they know I care and that it really matters.
Absolutely.
They're the most, like, to me, the most important part of the rock band.
Yeah. Definitely.
And but I also believe that these drummers were kind of drawn to me because I was writing good songs. That's what I want to think, and it's
absolutely.
I mean that they like good vocals and they like a good melody line. And almost all these drummers I've worked with are very melodically in tune.
Yeah. Well, Chris and Eric are awesome, but I mean, speaking of melody, I mean, you're just incredible, especially to watch live, because I mean, it's almost like Hendrix. You're doing lead guitar parts while you're singing the melodies, and it's just so fun to watch. But I did want to say that the first time I saw you guys live was at the Masquerade, the old Masquerade.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, we're at the new Masquerade here in Atlanta. But you probably don't remember this, but I had the honor to be the opening act back in 2009 on the Tragic Boogie Tour, God's Green Earth.
Okay.
That was the pinnacle of our success.
Oh, yeah?
Opening for you guys.
I'm sorry.
No, but I have a great story, actually, real quick. My counterpart, Donovan Cox, shout out to him real quick. He adores you like times 10, and I think he probably told you his life story and then handed you our demo, and I think you said something along the lines of, "This will probably end up on the floor of our van."
No, no.
It's so awesome.
What I said this gets a real listen because we do Smash or Trash.
Like
we listen to everybody's demos that we like, and many people we go, "Dang, that's really good," but everybody gets a listen. We enjoy the Smash or Trash version because some people are like, "Oh, somebody's stupid demo I don't want to hear,"
Right.
We really dig it, and we appreciate when people give us their records and stuff, so we always listen.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Even if we were a coaster for your beer,
oh, no way.
That was it's so cool.
No way.
So I'll never forget that show because you opened with "Pain Don't Hurt," which is to this day I think one of the best instrumentals ever.
Oh, good. Thank you.
And I mean, it's just so when I'm driving around listening to it, I'm beating the hell out of my steering wheel, but also the melody of that is just incredible. When you wrote that guitar riff, were you thinking at that point, like, I can't even put lyrics to this, it's so good, or what was...
You know what? The whole thing is, it was a guitar exercise I was teaching, because I was teaching guitar, and it was I would teach kids to play A major to A minor, then E major to E minor, and you just kind of rotate back and forth. So and it goes. So it's real easy. It's the same form: A major, A minor, and then A minor is the same form as E major.
Sure.
And so it's this kind of like, and then it goes to E7 is what it goes. E7, not E minor, but
gotcha. Yeah.
But So that's where the song actually came from. Is like, but I don't know. We think we just wanted something grand. Yeah. There's a song on a Journey record called Evolution on the Evolution record. Early on, we're a big Journey fan. We're a big closet Journey fans.
That's awesome.
I guess not anymore, but like, we love all that old shit. But they have those kind of like triumphant kind of like openers, you know, where you can see the flash pods going off and the sparks raining down from
right.
You can't do that anymore. It has to be an LED of sparks. You can't have real sparks.
Exactly.
Maybe that's better.
So epic though, man, and I love it. And the new album, it's self-titled. And was there a reason for that, or were you just lazy, or was it?
I feel like we had kind of covered all the album titles at the minute for right then, and to have us, nothing was jumping out. And I felt it would have been like us trying to like force something in that wouldn't have happened, and we just thought that with the artwork, you know, the map and from William Test, the guy who did it,
beautiful artwork,
guy's like insane. But we just felt like that it would be cleaner for our 5th record to have no title, just to like Life and Times, Life and Times. So
it seems to fit perfectly with the artwork and the music. I mean,
and one of the reasons we love Life and Times, the name, is because it can be it can be like kind of like fit whatever kind of mood you want it to be. You could have a picture of, you know, a genocide and a bomb on the front, and it'd be like pretty heavy, or you could have flowers and whatever, you know. And so you can kind of fit different modes, you know, or you can have people running through the streets in gas masks wielding, you know, and like
we may be not too far from that.
You know what I mean? And like
absolutely.
So so we like the way the name fits with everything, and it kind of works with this album title that way.
And it's hard to pick a favorite. I mean, there's so many good songs. Of course, Killing Queens being the lead single. The video is so cool.
Thanks, man.
But I think currently my favorite is T = D divided by F.
Yeah, that's the time equation.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's time equals distance over speed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I forgot all about that.
That's the equation for.
You're a mathematical guy.
Well, you know, physics was not so college for me, and then they had a class that's like called. It was like physics for poets or something, or like that was the one I had, and I kind of like barely made it through, but like I did get the fundamentals of it. And I really love my physics teacher. But
that's cool.
This was just about time. The song's just about like our life just slips away from us so fucking fast. Just like do something now. Right. It's already yesterday. Yeah. It's already tomorrow. You know, now. So it's like just do it. Like, whatever.
And
so
the music
that
fits
urgency.
It perfectly. It has that propulsive beat. And,
totally. We always think, somebody was saying it had kind of a disco beat, but I hear that, but it also kind of reminds me of like Trans Am and that kind of thing, and like Secret Machines, that kind of like vibe. So that's our inspiration for it.
That's awesome, man. Well, going back to your first album, Suburban Hymns, which is what I was introduced to, My Last Hostage. Still one of my favorites, and
the hit.
But I mean, as far as the lyrics of that song, do you find, and I'm assuming it's fictional what you were writing. I'm hoping, but do you find it liberating to write fiction versus personal feelings? At times?
Totally. I'm too boring otherwise. Everything is, in my life it would be like. I mean, and it'd be too heavy probably also to kind of dig in on what actually really is heavy. Right. That's not to say that there's not some fact in the fiction, but like, every songwriter just writes songs from, it's a story, you know. I used to think, we were out on tour, Shiner was out on tour with Death Cab for Cutie one time, and I was asking him about something. And he goes, that's not my family. I go, your dad left and like a whole thing, and he left you guys, and you guys were on a shoestring budget with your mom and crossing the Rocky, and he goes, no. He goes, no, I grew up in Seattle. I'm in the burbs, or whatever he grew up in. And I was like,
Right.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah,
you mean
totally.
like how I do? And,
Yeah.
you know, so, but Ben Gibbard's a real storyteller. You know, I mean, I think
Sure.
he's like one of the better storytellers. He has a great narrative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm still working on mine. You know, I feel like it's the last to come, and always. So when people enjoy my lyrics and they connect, that's a big deal. That's a big deal for me.
Dude,
So.
you have no idea. Like for me, I think as far as lyrics for you go, I think there's nothing more brilliant than The Politics of Driving
wow.
from Tragic Boogie.
Thank you.
Just so deep on so many levels.
Yeah.
And I was actually just talking to a fan that drove all the way up here from Destin to see you guys.
Oh my God.
So cool. And he was like, yes, dude, I love that song. But he had his own perception of it, and I had mine. And mine is, you know, I see it as you're talking about the issues of fame, chasing fame, and then the audience, more so on the audience side,
Sure.
Saying like, we love to watch people
love
get
the blood.
famous, and then when they go too far, then we love to rip them to shreds.
I love that too.
Like, yeah.
And then they love to hold a torch. It's all.
Yeah.
That is it. It's about. You really kind of nailed it.
Oh, nice.
To get into kind of like where my head was at the minute, I'd have to kind of like dig back in and look at it, and I can explain it deeper.
Yeah.
But that really is it. About our thirst for, you know, that fame, that stardom, the martyrdom of it, and when they lose
Sure.
the blood of it, you know, and just that kind of like, you know, we love the blood too.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so,
yeah, I mean, and this is all pre-Kanye West, so
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, not to single him out, but I mean, it's just
For
it's
sure.
sad that we do that. But
Oh yeah.
and our idea of success, I mean, what is it?
Right.
Really. But yeah, I mean, as far as and going way back now to Shiner days, you guys, and to this day, I feel like this may be, I don't want to take this the wrong way, but I feel like maybe more than a worldly successful act, you are successful in being influential to other bands.
Oh yeah. I see
And,
that.
I mean, there's so many bands, including my friend Dan Dixon from Please Please,
Yeah, yeah.
who opened for you guys tonight, will say that Shiner was a huge influence on him back
Sure.
in the day.
Yeah.
What were some of your influences growing up?
Growing up as a boy was AM Gold.
Yeah.
You know, Bread, Carpenters, Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Nice.
All my mom's record collection, James Taylor.
Right.
Wasn't really rock and roll, kind of just
Yeah.
hits radio.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers, The Gambler, all that stuff, whatever. And then
Sure.
And then was just modern AOR radio, Journey, REO, Styx, Boston. Those were the big four. And then I got hooked on a hair metal, and it was like
There you go.
Rat and Dokken and those two, and like Molly Crew.
Yeah.
And then I really got hooked on REM. Somewhere around college was REM and U2 and Police and so that really kind of guided me. And Zeppelin really kind of changed my life too. That was always mixed in with the whole thing. Rush was a big deal for me all through high school.
Sure.
And then later on, the big change was after college and meeting all my guys from Season to Risk and from that we're going to play in Shiner ultimately at some point. And that was learning stuff like, you know, Smashing Pumpkins and early Smashing Pumpkins, Slint, and Jesus Lizard, and like Arc Welder, and you know, Big Black, and stuff like that. That's like, you know, really influential, very special.
Absolutely.
Swerve Driver is very important for me. Nirvana was a big deal. You know, it's for everybody, wasn't it? You know.
And speaking of Nirvana. You guys as a three-piece, I'd rank you up there in the top 10 of all three-piece band.
Thank you.
Of course, you and Shiner.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.
But absolutely, I mean, up there with Cream, Hendrix Experience, Nirvana, all of those. Is there something special about being a three-piece as far, what are the pros versus the cons of that?
I think the pros far outweigh the cons. Mm-hmm. It's more streamlined in every way, specifically writing songs, mm-hmm. and then the way we do it is we use the three pieces as a good thing, and not like, oh, we need to like overlay some like rhythm guitar or something on the recording, like we want it to be just Eric has the beat for the song, I lay things on top,
right,
and Chris has the beat, and we kind of like, and it's its own orchestra. It's kind of like, in a way, kind of like the Police did. Like Sting always had the melody.
Exactly.
Andy Summers did the stuff on top.
Right.
You got Stewart killing it.
That's a perfect example.
And I was really inspired, also in that REM kind of way. And REM mm-hmm. did the same thing. Very capable three mm-hmm. instruments, right, with Michael's type singing, but still just a trio of instruments. Yeah. Very influential there. I find it to be very liberating. Mm-hmm. It can be frustrating.
Sure.
But you have to work a little harder. So sometimes we'll use mm-hmm. our sampler and we play with a click track, and we have a couple of backing tracks that we'll use for a couple things.
Right.
I don't care. It sounds great, and the backing tracks aren't the song. They don't do all of it, so I'm not. It doesn't hurt my psyche or whatever, like my ego. We do it because we want to kick ass live and to blow people's minds, and nobody gives a fuck really if it's whatever, as long as it's awesome, and we're gonna kill it on top of it. So.
Most people have no idea and just assume you're using like
something,
a pedal or something. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm using our sampler. We made the samplers are out of our heads.
Right. Absolutely.
And we can write. We've learned to write in the studio now. We can not just, or like in our practice room,
right?
Which sounds obvious, but like you would think that I would, back in the day, and even up to just recently. I mean, even now, I still come in with some songs. I go, I got a thing here. Yeah. But now this time, we just kind of like wrote many of these songs there. Yeah. Almost all of them.
Right.
Like 8 of the 9 tunes here, we just like wrote in the room together, kind of, well, what do we do now? And that's not like, bands don't always write together like that.
Right.
That's a thing where you got Johnny writes the tunes, mm-hmm. and then Jimmy and Ricky are gonna do whatever Johnny says, and that's just not our thing. That's not how it was. We have had some things where we'll go like, how about this, or how about that, like we always mm-hmm. have suggestions for each other, but this record in particular was much more collaborative, and you can hear it.
Oh, absolutely.
You can hear it in a lot of the sheds. So.
That's beautiful, man, and that leads to something else I definitely wanted to bring up, is just you guys have that kind of DIY aesthetic that you can tell, and recording everything on your own. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to see how much that you can pull out. Do you find that it's hard to kind of keep yourself, especially when you're recording yourself? Is it hard to be objective?
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah. But we learn we just take enough time now, mm-hmm. and we give ourselves more options.
Right.
But yeah, before this, and like when we got done, and after we're handing it out to people, I'd lost all objectivity. Yeah. But I still felt pretty strongly about it. You listen to it a few times, and you're like, this is pretty good. I'll put my name on this. Yeah, it is difficult to keep perspective. Although, a band that comes up with, 10 or 12 songs and then goes into a studio over 3 days to bang it out and just do it, that's not how we did it. That's just not how we can exist.
Sure. And obviously from a financial perspective, it's so much easier.
Right, for us to do it like this.
Yeah.
I mean, and we love the sounds we get.
Right.
Like we could have mixed it ourselves, but we wanted Jason Livermore to mix it.
Right.
Very proud of that. And, so that's a big deal. He's such a talented guy. He was mixed The Egg along with Jay Robbins, who helped engineer that and mix that.
God, so
and he did Tragic Boogie.
Right.
And he did No One Loves You Like I Do.
Right.
And then we did Lost Bees with Paul Malinowski, the Shiner's bass player, our last record.
Yeah.
And so we were back with Jason for this, and
that's
just like,
cool.
it was the right thing for this time. And but Paul did help us track a lot of some of the record.
Gotcha.
Came in for a week. And it's very tough to keep perspective. You just fall down in a hole. But I've learned to stay above it and realize, kind of like you're always kind of lifting what do we need, what do we want, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So speaking of Shiner, you guys recently had a reunion, right? A couple shows.
We re-release all our records on vinyl. So we started with our last one, The Egg,
right?
And that was 3 or 4 years ago. And then so like every year and a half or something, we'll get together and put together 3 or 4 shows, and re-release each of the records on vinyl, which a lot of the fans want. They get together and see the band, which many of them had not seen at the time, or like, you know, it's like it kind of grows in retrospect, you know. And the legend grows, at least, you know.
Exactly. That's awesome.
So it's fun. It's and we don't have the same. We're not like a band, quote unquote. We're just like, it's like a married couple. You get back together to just kind of dance in front of everybody, and like, Bill and June were so great together. Do your dance, you know, and we do our dance, and then they'll pay us for it, and it's like it's fun, and it makes the fans happy. We get to hang out, and we have a lot of good times, and just kind of like get to soak up. You know, just the fun of it. You know?
Absolutely.
So it's really cool.
Well, it must be so cool to mean so much to so many people that, you know, followed Shiner, now following the Life and Times, and now you're 10 years plus into the Life and Times. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
What would you want as Alan Epley, your legacy to be to the world for musically?
I guess I would I don't know. It all seems like dust in the wind, kind of, you know, like no matter what you do. Some people who have like the biggest, like people who have done amazing things, they get a blurb in the paper and they go, you know, like you hear Levon Helms died or something, you know, or and you go, Levon Helms died. Basically what you get is for most of the people in the United States to say your name for the day, to go, Levon Helms, you know, across the United States. They look at or you see it, and so. I guess I would I don't know. I mean, to have had an impact on people, and if the music had more life and somehow had some sort of like, you know, there's so much, you know, if it did have a life beyond that, you know, and people found it relevant in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, that would be cool. Absolutely. But you know, times change and stuff. So ultimately, I'm just trying to make myself happy. Life is short, and you know, I just want to enjoy.
And it's so cool to see you guys. I did have a minute to talk to Chris before the show, and it was cool to hear him say it's like you guys are always striving to get better and better.
Always.
Do you feel like you're always going to be trying to make your masterpiece? Like it's never.
I think so. I think everyone always feels like that.
Yeah.
I mean. You listen to David Gilmour talk about the making of Dark Side of the Moon, and even then, and he gets done, and they all sat and had a final listen when it was all up, and they all sat and you can hear, and I don't know if you've seen him, he'll say like, we've really done something. This is something really. I've had a couple of those feelings when I listen to this. We had a couple of listens in the studio, and I go, man, this is like really something special, you know. And I had that with this record. I've had it with most of the other records too. I feel like, which I go, well, fuck, I felt like this for every record. So what's real, you know? Or maybe they're all amazing, and I'm having a dark side moment with all of them.
Right.
I think even people who do make masterpieces always go, but that's not right, you know. Some sculptor goes, I didn't get his feet quite right, but I'm glad it's great and everybody loves it, you know, or you know, or whatever. I think that's just the way of the world. I don't know if you ever go. I don't know if. But there are some pieces that I have almost all of my records I can sit and listen to and feel very proud of.
Oh yeah.
Very proud of. I mean, all the way back to Splay, the first Shiner record, and that one's a tough one to listen to, but.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like I said, on this new album, it's hard to pick a favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite album of yours, to be honest. I think for me, just because of a lot of what I was going through at the time and what it meant to me, especially for us to open for you back in the day, but Tragic Boogie Boogie is just from Que Sera Sera to Old Souls,
nice.
A Dull Night.
Yeah.
I just all those tracks.
I feel like when I listen to that record, that's a special record. I really feel like it. I think in retrospect, I think my only comment on it is that it's maybe a song too long. I wish I would have left Catching Crumbs for an EP or for another release.
I love Catching Crumbs.
I do too.
Yeah.
Fuck, I love it. That's exactly why I put it on. I was like,
it's a masterpiece.
And now when I'm listening to it, my ear goes, okay, I'm in it. This is the middle of the record, and coming to the end, I go, oh, we're landing for too long here. So you have those critiques, but you say, well, in hindsight, you see crystal clear,
right?
And yet,
absolutely,
at the time, you're like, it's got to go on there, And I'm wondering what I will see clearly in a year from this record, and I'll go. But
you seem like you're. I mean, of course, wisdom comes with age, I suppose, but also just with experience. And you've been doing this for a while now. And what would you? Just for the younger generation, what would you give as advice for a band that maybe doesn't have the means financially? They're struggling in that respect. Maybe they just want to get their music heard. What do you think would be your words of wisdom?
I think it just be really fucking good. Be as good as you can possibly be, and then many things fall in line from there. They kind of work themselves out, and many bands get ahead of themselves. Like I think there's many bands that shouldn't be writing songs, to just be like playing other people's songs or something, like many people go from like, oh, I know how to play guitar, now I got to learn now I should be writing songs, and now actually you should be playing covers for the next 4 years and learn how to write a song. You should be being in a cover band, but they don't have any cover bands anymore as much. But being in a cover band is the shit, because you learn how to play and play other people's songs and play together. You get to draw a crowd because people want to hear other people's songs and play. And then you'll add a couple of your own songs in. It sounds cliched, but you actually really do learn how to write a song. I truly believe that many people learn how to play a couple chords and think that they're a songwriter now, but that's a whole other thing. That's a thing. So learn to play your instruments first of all. Learn to play other people's songs, learn to play them very well, and then however you do it just on your own, you don't have to do it as your whole band. And then if you get really good, find the right people and don't give up, things will happen. I mean, I could have stopped any time. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it sucks, it's not like if you're stuck on the highway in the rain and you're going to some shitty show somewhere and all you do is miss your family and want to be home. It's like, this sucks, and I don't want to do this, or some things it's so we tour very selectively or whatever, but if you stick around for a minute, that's part of kind of what I've done. I'm just kind of hung around, so I'm kind of still maybe that's the. I think if you just hang around,
like Groundhog Day, honestly, you become omniscient eventually.
Ultimately, I mean, I guess there's people who've hung around and haven't learned, whatever. But I don't know.
No, but man, that's awesome advice. I mean, seriously, just on the work ethic part, I think a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into music.
I mean, and when I'd say, be a cover band, you don't have to, but if you love Ty Segall or something, learn every fucking Ty Segall song. And learn how to play every one of his songs the way he plays it. Learn all his solos.
Exactly.
If you love Zeppelin, learn all that shit. Learn the solos. If you're learning how to play bass, find your bass player and learn all his songs and learn to be a badass. Master your instrument. You don't necessarily get to be in a band just because you can kind of play, or you don't necessarily get to. You can be in a band, but you might not get,
exactly
what you want out of it. But I think time and diligence and patience is the main thing. Even Queen got rejected by first 50 labels. They finally got picked up.
Exactly. Well, Alan Epley, thank you so much for putting all your time into music, man. Like, you have no idea what this means to me. I'm amazed I'm not shaking right now. But I really appreciate this, and thank you again, man. And I wish you all the best on the rest of the tour.
Thank you.
Looking forward to what you have coming next.
Me too. We'll see.
Yes.
Who fucking knows?
Well, thanks again, man, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thanks.